This is a reading of You Created Us, a My Singing Monsters creepypasta. For perspective, this is from Wobux's POV. It was the middle of the night. I had been asleep a few hours, and I was just about to go into full shutdown when I heard a glitchy, auto-tuned voice. I felt a hand on my shoulder, trying to shake me awake. I looked up to see my cousin, Rare Wobux, looking at me with a terrified look on his face. He looked as if he'd gotten into a nasty fight. The record disc on his chest had a huge crack in the side. His left hand seemed to be popped out of its socket, and there were dents almost everywhere on his body. "What happened to you?" I asked, shocked. "I
don't know,"
Rare Robux replied, his voice getting much glitchier than usual. All I remember is this bunch of monsters coming up to me and attacking me from all directions. Lightning bolt attached to his arms and legs suddenly went haywire, and my cousin started glitching as if somebody had broken his power core. He started to say something, his voice stuttering so much I could hardly understand him. I could only make out some shocking words. "You're responsible." His lightning bolts flickered out and he fell apart. I just managed to hold back a scream. What happened? Was I dreaming? No, I couldn't be. I tried hitting the power orb in my chest to see if I feel any pain. Fortunately, I did. All this was real. I stepped over to the broken parts of my cousin, trying to hold back the tears. Who would do something as horrible as this? I had to find out. I hopped over to Ethereal Island to see if I could get any information from the Ethereals. As I expected, everyone there was awake. Few were even badly injured. Apparently whoever attacked my cousin had attacked the Ethereals as well. I felt something tapping on my foot. I looked down to see a young Gazette with a black eye. His mother was beside him with a worried look on her face. "Scary monsters hurted everyone," the young Ghast said as I crouched down to get a better look. "I can see that," I replied. I looked over at his mother, who was holding her right arm, which appeared to be broken. "Did you see who attacked her?" I asked her. I could only see who attacked my son and I. One almost looked like an owl. He seemed to have multiple arms, and he had curved horns at the side of his head. I saw him knock my son to the ground and punch him in the eye. By the time I got to my son, the attacker had run off. Before I could ask my son if he was hurt, something grabbed me by the shoulders and twisted me around before breaking my arm. As he ran off, I noticed that he was running on all fours, and his feet looked like sharp hooves. That's all I remember. The description of the attackers that the Mother Gazette had given to me sounded so familiar. But how? "Thank you," I managed to say. "I'll see if I can find them." Then I went over to Cold Island, and sure enough, like an Ethereal Island, everyone was wide awake. As I looked around, I could see that some trees snapped in two. Two Tweedles and a Danderer run over to me. The Tweedle's wing looked like they had been torn, and the Danderer lost more of her fluff and a nasty slash on her neck. "We're so glad you're here," both the Tweedles said at the same time. Everyone here was attacked, cocking her head towards a group of other monsters who have been badly injured. "Do you guys see what your attackers look like?" I asked the trio. The Tweedle with the crack in her beak started flapping her wings wildly. "Oh, I saw what they looked like," she exclaimed.
Bruh.
"There were 4 of them. One of them looked like a weird bug. I saw him attacking a group of bogwarts. Another looked kind of like a bird rabbit thing. And he kicked me in the beak before running to who knows where." The other 2 were always sticking together. One looked like it didn't even have a stomach. The other was a bit smarter than me. The stomachless one attacked Dandidoo. The tiny one beat up my sister. She gestured to the Tweedle standing beside her. "Thank you. I'll try to find these guys," I said. Once again, the description sounded so familiar.
Bruh.
I went to all the other islands, but sure enough, the descriptions the monster gave me of their attacks sounded oddly familiar.
Bruh.
But why? The last island I visited was Wublin Island. I looked around to see nothing. No Wublins. Nothing. That is, nothing except for part of my cousin's record disc. I blinked back tears, remembering his horrified face. I called out. There was no response. All I could hear was the soft, zapping sounds of sparks shooting through the wires that connected to who knows what. Suddenly, I felt an unbearable pain in my chest. I looked and saw that my power orb had a huge hole through the middle. This was my bad. My power orb was the one thing that kept me alive. I fell backward, and I couldn't get up. As my orb shrank and faded, I could feel myself fading as well. I knew at once that I would be seeing my cousin again, but not in the way that I wanted. Then, I saw the Wublins, my own creations, standing over me. They all looked insane. One of the Thwok's turning pegs was broken, his tongue had 2 nasty cuts on one side. Poke's mask had been split down the middle, exposing a burned-looking face with glowing yellow eyes. Part of Bona's ribs had been ripped off, and Petite looked almost normal, except for her eyes, which were bloodshot. Last thing I heard before everything faded to black was a sentence that will haunt me forever. You created us, but we will always be stronger than you.